afternoon. Yay. So we are going to be on time today, and we're going to get finished really quick. I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to give it over to Leroy. And so we're going to talk about communications. I know that you guys wanted to hear some reports on what we've communicated so far. Can you hear me okay? Okay. We communicated about the P2P blocking and the BitTorrent. The email was distributed last week on 2 weeks ago, July 25th. We started blocking on the 28th, and we haven't had any issues. Have you had any feedback? A little bit? Has anybody had any feedbacks? 2 DMCAs. Wow, that's awesome. The website is uh.edu/infotech/P2P, and I know Rita, wherever Rita is, she's coming right now. She's going to talk a little bit more about that. We sent some information out to the residents for the moving guide, how to get the most out of Wi-Fi, how to use Philo with your TV and your other devices, and also the BitTorrent blocking. The new faculty orientation's coming up next week. The emergency notification info and contact assistance. And we have a new facility that's yet to be named. So if you can come up with a really cool name, we'll give you credit for it. It's down by Tech Commons. It's a multi-use interactive room, and it's set up for internet and webinars. It's got 3 huge 80-inch screens and 2 cameras, so you can use it for all your video conferencing needs. It seats 30. Small cost will be recovered depending upon your support needs. So if you have people that can support you, you could probably use it for no cost. If you need more people to support you, it'll be small cost. Nursing is using this site every Tuesday. So if you want to use that room, use the facility, contact me. We have a new initiative this semester, and we have a higher presence of social media. We're actually going to be helping students via social media. If they have issues with Wi-Fi or Philo or whatever, they can tweet us, and they can also do 2-way texting. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that on the next month's meeting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll do a demo for you guys and show you what happened during the beginning of the semester. Questions about communications? Leroy?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, just want to give you an update as far as where we're at with the start of school on the help desk. We've been meeting monthly with various departments, with PeopleSoft, Blackboard, CougarNet, admissions, Wi-Fi, and a few others throughout the year to making sure that we're in sync. This year, we always ramp up with extra staff to support the start of school, but this year I'm going to add some additional people because we want to kind of blanket the campus and provide some Philo support within the housing locations, and also do a lot of Wi-Fi testing and provide Wi-Fi troubleshooting right there on site. Later, after the beginning of school, what we're going to do some Wi-Fi demonstrations because we want to be able to demonstrate the difference in some of the new AC technology that's been installed across the campus. We've also this year met a couple of times with the SGA leadership, and we met with them to kind of share some of the things that we're doing, and that we plan to do in regards to network upgrades, and also some things we plan on doing with social media monitoring. We figured it would be best to partner with them because we've tried quite a bit to put out the word between flyers, digital signage, email, and our message just isn't getting across. We figured that with SGA, to get across a little bit better. Some of the other things we've done is the classroom technology team is responsible for 117 GP classrooms, and they've done quite a bit this year and during the summer to get ready. I won't go through all of it, but they've replaced a bunch of new projectors, new Extron boxes, power screens, and quite a bit, but we're ready to go. Any questions? All right, thank you.
That's you, right? Let's go forward and backwards. That's too easy. I hardly ever do this. Hi, I'm Keith Martin from Enterprise Systems. I'm just going to give a quick update on, they call it PeopleSoft update. We call it the enterprise applications, which, you know, consists of human resources, payroll, finance, research, university advancement, and campus solutions, of course. They're all customer driven. You guys are customers of the HR payroll one to us. We have student customers and faculty customers. On human resources, I put the termination checklist out here. It's been out for a couple of years, but I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we had this termination checklist out there, and it's on a continuous enhancement cycle to add more things to it, so no one has to walk around campus with those lovely papers and have them filled out anymore. Human resources was upgraded to PeopleSoft version 9.2 back in December of 2015. It was successfully done, and then it added some features, and some of those features aren't in play yet, but as our partners, HR, work with us, we're bringing more and more of the features on, like org charts, and you probably noticed some of the direct-to-report stuff that is working now, which is great stuff. Some of the upcoming things that HR and payroll are doing with us, Taleo Recruiting and Onboarding is going to replace the People Admin system. It's a software as a service from Oracle. It'll allow us to do the same type of recruiting you do with People Admin, be able to look at your candidates and choose the ones you want, select them, but it'll also have an onboarding process which will bring all the data into the PeopleSoft HR payroll system and make it more seamless integration. The TIAA Retirement Manager replaces something which I don't even know what the name of it is, but it allows employees to go in and manage their retirement accounts, or at least look at them. I'm not sure if you can manage them or not, and we're currently working on that integration with TIAA. And part of the 9.2 upgrade allows us to make use of something new from the Oracle PeopleSoft environment. It's called the Fluid User Interface. It allows for a more responsive web presence that works with the form factors that are more prevalent today, iPhones, iPads. So a better mobile experience can be had. And so this is just a screenshot of kind of the delivered out of the box PeopleSoft Fluid User Interface. Of course, it'll be customized more for the UHS and or UH experience, depending on which environment we're working with, because some of our applications, as you know, are supporting multiple campuses, and so we can't just make them UH looking, because the UH Clear Lake, UH Downtown, UH Victoria folks don't exactly like that. So we kind of make a UHS look for HR payroll and finance. But some of our other self-service apps that are specific to UH students, they'll be red and whatever the current color scheme is. Black. This is the manager self-service page. You can see it's mostly made up of little tiles. Click on the tiles, it drills down to more tiles that will allow you to get to the eventual pages that you work from, and it resizes and responses based on the form factor you're on. The finance research area, things that have been recently put out in the last year, Maximus Effort Reporting System, which is now out on Access UH. It allows the principal investigators, faculty research folks to go in and put their effort on the different projects they work on, even though they're not directly charged against that, they have to keep track of the actual effort on it for federal compliance. Something else new is the PI Work Center, also known as the PI Portal. It's a sort of a bank statement for the principal investigators, research faculty again, so they can see all their projects, what their budgets were, their expenses, what their current balance available is, and they can drill down in that to get more detail. And upcoming, and these three things that I'm talking about are on Access UH, and I'll show you their icons in a second, just so you'll be aware of what they kind of look like. Concur Travel Management, some of you may have had to deal with that. It allows you to manage travel. Employees can go in and do their reimbursements and stuff. Managers can go in and approve it. We're going to put that out on Access UH, so that currently you have to go through PASS to get to it, so we're just going to make it available on Access UH. And these little three icons are what they look like. Concur will probably not say PASS, it'll say something else. The Effort Reporting System, I think Mark Rosanis designed these little icons for me. And then the PI Portal looks like this, which we're actually going to rename the PI Work Center. And lastly, in the finance and research area, something coming out called ICON. I'm not sure they'll stay with this name, Integrated Compliance Oversight Network, but this is what research came up with. And it deals with conflict of interest and the animal care and use boards where they have to approve protocols for animal care and use, and the institutional review board for protocols and studies for human subjects and that sort of thing. And so it's a new enterprise application that the Division of Research is rolling out in partnership with us, and mostly your faculty and principal investigators, research folks will be dealing with that particular application. We're also rolling out grants management and the PeopleSoft Finance so that we can retire something called BRAMP and RD2K. And then we're making more additions to the PI Work Center, so PIs can look for things like equipment that they could use on their projects. It's a sort of a federal mandate that they have to actually look to see if there's equipment that's available that they can share with others before they actually go out and buy new stuff. And in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll probably be upgrading the finance PeopleSoft environment to 9.2. And lastly, Campus Solutions. Some of the upcoming things for Campus Solutions, there's a new version of the Campus Solutions Mobile that's being pushed out this September. And this version will actually let the students register and drop from class, a class search and fill out a schedule, and also use that schedule with their life. So they can put in their work schedule and their playtime schedule, and so they can fit it all together and all see it in one spot. And it'll integrate with PeopleSoft Campus Solutions to update the classes they want and that kind of stuff. The emergency contact info capture functionality, it's actually we're capturing the emergency contact information off of the Campus Solutions environment, all the students, and feeding those over to Everbridge? Soon? Peer Still, okay. So that's for the alert systems and real-time texting to alert people of things on campus. And Campus Solutions is also currently working on their upgrade to 9.2. It's expected to happen in March. There will be extended downtime at Campus Solutions. It takes about 4 days to get through the whole process, and it will put them in a position to make use of this the fluid user interface that I spoke about earlier. And lastly, we have a huge initiative going on to migrate UH Downtown from their banner system onto our PeopleSoft Campus Solutions, so that all 4 campuses will be using PeopleSoft Campus Solutions. And that's supposed to happen, sort of finish up in March of 2018. Admissions and that kind of stuff will probably start in September of 2017. But we're currently working on that project. Any questions? Yeah.
On that Toledo, is there something that we can use for student employees as well?
On Taleo?
Toledo. So that's just for full-time?
It's a cloud software hosted out in Oracle. So the employee or candidates would actually go there, not associated with U of H. And so I guess the students could go there for job openings that we have, if it's to bring them, into jobs that you have specifically just for students. I would have to work with, check with HR. It's possible.
They have to change some policies about student employment before they can put them through that system.
Okay. Well, there's the answer right there.
I'm a division administrator.
Anything else? All right, thanks.
Eric?
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Block. I represent ES Architecture. And basically, we're responsible for the university campus-wide enterprise system infrastructure. Our visible projects for the coming up year is going to be Exchange 2013 migration and link upgrade with some Active Directory expansion. Actually, project manager sitting over there, so if you want to ask Jody Gillette questions about that project, she's right there. Omar Farik is responsible for the link portion of that, and he's with TSS. Generally, our stuff is, we're in the background. We're providing all the services, and TSS is responsible for the customer facing. So generally, there's a person in TSS who's responsible for information or project management. Behind the scenes, we're doing some infrastructure upgrades, particularly a blade refresh to support new operating systems as the operating systems expand and mature. Sometimes the equipment we have doesn't really work with that very well, so we're doing a refresh of our blade infrastructure. We're doing a storage upgrade and adding additional capacity. So we're going to add an all-flash array for the databases. We're going to add additional capacity for any of the initiatives out there, anything from CougarNet to PeopleSoft and Blackboard and those type of things. We're doing a refresh of SDC and UH at Victoria, which is our secondary data center in case things break. That same equipment needs to be upgraded. It's been there for 6-8 years, and it's about time we refresh that. And we're also upgrading our presence on campus, which is PGH. So we have equipment there, and we're upgrading that. Then our major focus generally is support of UIT initiatives, things like SCCM, data warehouse, security, PeopleSoft, Blackboard, anything of that nature. And we provide the infrastructure that sits behind it. As I said, most of the interface is either done by people who are the operations managers, or it's done by TSS and project managers in TSS. But behind the scenes, we're there. We're providing whatever services the campus needs. Any questions?
Sir,
Sure.
would those upgrades include Exchange, so we start using HALO 2016?
Right now, the plan is just for 2013. There is new infrastructure for that project. It will support 2016. So when we're ready to go, since it will be a total refresh of the infrastructure that's behind Exchange, it will support 2016. But at this point, plans are only for 2013. TSM. Oh, one other campus visible project is TSM. We're doing an upgrade in TSM. Boy, if I written just 3 inches. The upgrade to TSM involves replacing our older legacy IBM equipment with our standard HP equipment. And so we're replacing the last server in that infrastructure, and we're adding capacity. We're buying a new frame for tapes and other things like that. And also the new server will be about 10 times the size of the old one. So Tom Carroll is the TSS representative responsible for TSM. And if there are individual questions on that, there's some software support that's being upgraded on that about how to do restores with continuous data protection and things of that nature. But those are at the software layer, not at the hardware. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
So let me get this. Can I get it? Can I move? Just. Oh, that's fine. There's no clicker? Do I have to be here? Okay. That's fine. No.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? My name is Rita Barrantes, and I'm the Director of Network Services for the university. Well, there are several familiar faces, but quite a large number of new faces. So I work under David Johnson. I'm part of Technology Support Services, and the part of the services that I have under my direction are Wi-Fi services, unified communications, all the network, the wire network on campus, and security cameras, IPTV FILO, well, I'm gonna talk about VPN. That's something that Charles does, and Charles Chambers. MPDG group works very closely with my teams to basically deliver network services to all of you. So, today I'm going to talk to you about Wi-Fi. So during the last several meetings we have been announcing we're going to have a new Wi-Fi vendor. We're going vendor, so great news. Well, guess what? We have now a new Wi-Fi vendor, and it's Aruba Networks. So who are they? Aruba Networks is one of the two leaders rated by Gartner as the top Wi-Fi manufacturers in the industry. And Aruba Networks is actually installed in a lot of our peer institutions, Carnegie Mellon, University of North Texas, Texas A&M. Those are some of the universities that have Aruba Networks. So we finalized the RFP with them last month. And during the last month, we have been doing great upgrades with them. We identified 9 buildings on campus to be able to upgrade and install some of this new infrastructure. So Aruba, in July, released the 802.11ac, which is the gigabit Wi-Fi Wave 2 technology. So we were one of the first campus in US to install Wave 2. So this room actually has the Aruba Networks installed. Farish Hall was one of the 9 buildings selected campus-wide to have this new technology. We selected the 9 buildings based on the throughput, the usage basically, how much Wi-Fi usage do we see in the building. So 9 buildings were selected. The high density buildings selected for this upgrade were the library. That's actually the highest priority building on campus. We have more than 4,000 devices connecting to the Wi-Fi in that building every day. So the Student Center North, students congregate a lot. They use their devices to watch movies, socialize, and things like that. Student Center South and UC Satellite. So these were 4 of the 9 buildings that are considered by us the top priority for upgrades. Academic buildings, we identified what academics buildings also were the top users of Wi-Fi. And the ones that were selected were the engineering buildings, the Farish Hall, and Hilton. So in these 9 buildings, basically, we have upgraded Wi-Fi at capacity, meaning in all spaces, administrative, academic, research spaces, everywhere in the building now has Wi-Fi at capacity. So we're going to continue doing more upgrades in the next year. And also, we also identified 2 administrative buildings to kind of pilot this technology because those are lower density areas, so they use different type of model of access points. So we piloted where we are located, basically, in the Wi-Fi team, in General Services Building, and Student Service Center 1. So that's actually David and Dennis sit in that office, so we got them as our pilot users as well. So again, we have been doing, we have upgraded during the summer 21 buildings. So that's a lot in the last 2 months. So 11 were upgraded to Aruba. And this is the rest of the list actually that we upgraded. So in the academic spaces, we're upgraded at capacity where all these buildings, Science and Research 1, Science and Research 2, Houston Science Center, Garrison PGH, Fleming, SERC, SEC, and Science and Teaching Lab. So these buildings were not upgraded with Aruba technologies. These buildings actually, all the academic spaces, category 1 to 3 spaces, academic spaces were upgraded at capacity. So meaning there's Wi-Fi in every single classroom, in every single study area, all of that where the students are, where the faculty are, the teaching, that is upgraded as well as capacity. And we also did an upgrade. Student housing is considered also a top priority for us because that's where students live. That's where students actually, we have one of the housing buildings, the Calculo, which is a wire-free environment. So they rely pretty much 100% on Wi-Fi. They don't have anything to plug into the wall. So we consider all the housing buildings our high priority. And one of the buildings that did not have AC gigabit technology was the Quadrangle. So the Quadrangles buildings, I don't know if you're aware, but they are pretty much gonna be demolished. So at the request of housing, they said, well, upgrade it, but not to the latest and greatest, just, to make sure that the students do have good service in there. So we upgraded the quadrangle during the summer as well. So those are the 21 buildings that we touch during this semester. So as we continue Wi-Fi, using Wi-Fi, it's actually a strategic investment for us. We're trying to identify, well, certainly we would like to be, to have more Wi-Fi in every space, but what is our criteria to identify what is that we're gonna be upgrading? So we created a categorization for every single space on campus. And for that, we're using FEMIS, our space management system, the university space management system, to categorize all the spaces on campus, based on certain criteria, whether it's an academic space, whether it's a social space used by the students, whether it's administrative or research or outdoor spaces. So this year, fiscal year 2017, our goal is to have 100% at capacity Wi-Fi in all academic spaces and housing spaces. So that's where we are today. 60% in academic spaces, high density like libraries and study rooms, 42%. So your buildings, one way or another, all your academic areas will be touched during this fiscal year to make sure that we actually cover that 100% at capacity. So James just stepped in. So he's the Wi-Fi manager. He's waving right there so you can have a face. And this is FEMIS. How many of you have ever used FEMIS? Or how many of you have never used FEMIS? Oh, some hands. Well, FEMIS, again, is the space management tool that we use for categorization of the spaces. So depending on what category of spaces, like the UH space code, we map them to Wi-Fi categories automatically. So if you say in FEMIS, this space is academic, it's a classroom or something, automatically it's gonna be mapped as a category 1 space for us. So this is, for instance, the first floor of this building in FEMIS. So if you see the red spaces, is our category 1 spaces. Wherever there are classrooms, whenever there's anything like that, that's category 1. And that's how we continue all the way until category 10, which corresponds to our outdoor spaces. And I'm showing you this not because it's a pretty picture, because it is the way that we actually categorize the spaces. And when we show sometimes these maps to the technology managers, they say, well, but this room is really not administrative. We have faculty there teaching sometimes courses. So we would like to know that. Because usually this coding is done by your business administrator. So we would like to know what are those spaces that are not necessarily flagged in your in FEMIS as academic, but they should be, so we can put in our list as a category 1 space. So we can do that on our back end. So, and give them a higher priority than others. Because, like I said at the very beginning, administrative spaces, they are actually at the lowest priority. So questions about this so far? No? Well, so where are we as far as our Wi-Fi infrastructure? So last year we did an assessment and based on the square footage and the number of buildings that we have and the university, and we estimated we are probably going to need about 10,000 access points to cover every single building at capacity, all the spaces. So 10,000 APs, that's actually our estimate of number of APs that the university needs. Where we are today, we're at about 50%. So as of today, we have 4,968 access points on campus. Most of it is Meru because we just launched Aruba last month, but we have 710 Aruba access points already installed on campus. So the customer satisfaction so far is B because the students expect Wi-Fi to be everywhere, even in the outdoor spaces. So if they see that the outdoor or any space is not working, they will give us a C or they will give us a D. But it's not because the Wi-Fi is bad. It's because there is no Wi-Fi. But the perception is Wi-Fi is bad. And we want to meet that perception. The only way to do it is by growing, identifying those areas where they are and growing and growing, continue growing until we actually have all our campus covered with Wi-Fi. Peer-to-peer traffic, that's actually just an announcement. Diane Triple and her team actually worked with the security group and with NPDG on this initiative, and on July 28th, that became a reality. So now we're blocking peer-to-peer traffic on Wi-Fi. Not yet on wire, but that probably will come soon. Mary is, yes. So BitTorrent, so we're hoping that will definitely decrease the number of DMCAs and things that we have been receiving. And of course, we have already talked to housing, because that was one of the areas where we had a lot of the peer-to-peer incidents reported. So the students are aware that it's not the Wi-Fi that is not working, it is that you're not supposed to be downloading illegal streaming, and it's actually being blocked. So if you can help us with communications in your colleges as well, students, they usually are downloading movies from anywhere. They go to the library and they start downloading movies. They are not going to be able to do it anymore. So Andy is smiling because he also participated in that initiative. So there are some legitimate usage of peer-to-peer traffic. So Diane and her team are working on putting together the template on what information that we will need from you to actually be able to give you that. And of course, it's going to go through UIT security for them to validate that it's a legitimate use of peer-to-peer traffic. Questions so far? No? AC. So the Gigabit Wi-Fi network, everybody's talking about that. We have it on campus, like funny sometimes. We were talking about Don Jackley last fall about it, and it's like students say that they can actually, they would like to have on campus Gigabit Wi-Fi. I'm like, we have it. We've had it for 2.5 years already. I mean, where is it? I mean, our Wi-Fi infrastructure, again, going back to almost 5,000 access points, more than half of it is AC technology. So 59%, that's where we are. We want to be at 100% AC technology all over campus by the end of next year. So we still have some 2,000 access points to replace, and those are the ones, Meru, that we are targeting for replacement during this year and next. Where is it right now? AC is in all the campus that we're upgrading to Aruba, 100% is AC. So all Aruba technology is AC technology. The Meru technology is actually, the AC technology is available in all classrooms, on all your academic spaces and residential buildings, with the exception of the quadrangle. So, but what happened? We're investing all this great investment on Wi-Fi, and we're getting funds from the university to invest on the Wi-Fi infrastructure. And then we're finding out that the usage of the AC network is not as high as we would like it to be. It's at 21%. What does that mean? That the devices that users bring to campus, whether it's faculty, students, or staff, are not AC capable. So we need your help. We need your help on communications, communicating to your faculty, to your staff, to your students. Whenever they find, they come to you and say, well, why am I getting very low speed on my Wi-Fi network? Why am I getting, very poor connectivity on Wi-Fi? It's like, check their device. Is it AC capable? Because if it's not, all they are doing is riding on the feeder road when we're having a highway that pretty much is not being used that much, as it could be. So please help us on that. Communicate to your users, send an email, check whether your device is AC capable. Diane's group developed some great videos, and they are available in our website, uh.edu/improve-Wi-Fi, where you can actually send it to your customers, and they basically say how they can check whether their device is AC capable. What happens if their device is not AC capable? Students bringing all laptops to campus or so forth, they can purchase an adapter. So an adapter is $30, $40. They can purchase it online, they can purchase it in Cougar Bank, and that will give them actually, the benefits of the AC network automatically. It's a USB adapter. That's one that we recommend. The Netgear A6210 is one adapter that we highly recommend. We have tested it and it works very well. So, and that actually could increase 3 to 5 to 6 times the speeds. So on the Gigabit network, we're getting speeds over 300 with AC, on the AC network. So please, if you would like us to run, because we have in the back end statistics of what percentage of your users in your building are connecting using AC, we can actually give you that information. If you say, hey Rita, or hey James, we would like to know how many of my users are using AC, we can give you that information. Who are the ones that are using, how many are using, and how many are not. So college-specific information for your college division. So, cellular. Cellular is another topic that several of you have actually come and asked us about. So Omar Farouk is the manager of Unified Communications, which includes all the cellular and also voice link. So what happened in those buildings with basements that actually do not have cellular coverage or very little signal and you're having issues? Well, since we're investing so much, we're investing very strategically on Wi-Fi, we have been doing testing on Wi-Fi calling. So Wi-Fi calling in the past, as of last year, it was only supported by T-Mobile. Now it's supported by all the major carriers. So AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile, they all support it now. What is it? It's just enabling your device Wi-Fi calling. So rather than using the cellular network, you will be using the Wi-Fi network. So we're installing access points pretty much throughout the campus. If you have faculty or staff, somebody who comes to you and say, I don't have cellular reception in the basement or certain areas, well, give them some advice. Hey, can you enable Wi-Fi calling your device? Yeah, by default, it's not enabled. So ask them how to enable, go to the settings. There is additional information. Every vendor, every carrier, major carrier has information about it in their website, and there are links over here for you to look. Usually the device also has to be capable of Wi-Fi calling. So devices, Android 6 or above, same thing with the iPhone, are capable. So all the older devices not. So that's a good reason to upgrade your device to be able to have actually that Wi-Fi calling. We have been testing it. One of our concerns were like, well, how about on roaming? I mean, if they are going to be going from one IP, while they are walking, the transfer of the call to the other IP, is the call going to drop? Actually, the tests have been very successful. So, Omar and Rashad have been testing it, and it has worked very well. They tested in SNR1, the basement of SNR1 and SNR2, and it has worked very well, very transparent. So that's something that you may want to encourage your users to use as well. Wi-Fi support. Well, these are useful links that are available to you. Our website, uh.edu/Wi-Fi. How to improve your Wi-Fi is we have put together this website, improve-Wi-Fi, with a lot of links and videos for you actually to send. The information about the adapter is there, the information about how to do a speed test, how to change power settings in your devices are there. So go there and communicate this link to your students, to your faculty, to your staff. Anytime that they want to improve their Wi-Fi experience, how the settings should be in their machines, in their devices, to be able to have a better Wi-Fi experience. Project updates, anything that we're doing, any project that is coming up, we have it in our website under projects about IT projects, so you can take a look at it. I mean, it's the day, the schedule, which buildings are we working on now, and which buildings we will be working in the future. So that's all available in our website. Questions so far about Wi-Fi? Thank you. So as we are we're upgrading the access points in the buildings, but we're also upgrading the switches. So a lot of you in the previous meetings were like, well, what is going to happen with the switches? Yeah. We're not replacing all the switches in the buildings. We're replacing the switches that support Wi-Fi. So all the switches that support Wi-Fi are being upgraded to gigabit switches. What does it mean? That latest and greatest, all in the backbone is going to be Wi-Fi given the priority over wire. We would like to ask you for those users that are still using the wire network, probably ask them, why do you use the wire network if it's a desktop or new laptops that you're going to buy in for your college or your division? Maybe take a look at whether it's AC capable. Make sure that it has a good Wi-Fi adapter inside, embedded already in there. There are several colleges that recommend laptops, or actually, like Bauer, I think, they have a program that they give the laptops to the students. So make sure that those laptops have are AC capable for connecting to the Wi-Fi. We're also upgrading not only the access layer switch, so basically in the building, we're also upgrading the uplinks. So we're upgrading all the uplinks to the core network to 10 gig uplinks. So right now, most of the buildings, I would say probably not most, but at least 40% of the buildings on campus only have a 1 gig uplink. So as we move with Aruba Networks, our goal is also to increase all that network uplink capacity of the building to the core network from 1 gig to 10 gig uplink. So this building, for instance, the cutover was last Saturday. We upgrade their building uplink to 10 gig capacity. So that's on Wi-Fi, great stuff. Well, the Wi-Fi manager, again, is James, and James and his team are making all these great things happening. Thank you, James. Link. So Link, Skype for Business. Omar Farouk is the manager for this team. So what have we been tracking on Link? On Link, we have been tracking are they using it? Are they using what they should be using? And so basically, we have been lately, everybody uses Link as a phone thing. They think, okay, it's just to call, I'm going to use it as a phone. But it's really a unified communication platform. It can do a lot more than phone. It can do instant messaging, video, file transfer, conferencing, and all of this other cool stuff. So we find that the percentages of usage, the university-wide usage of those functionality, what we call enhanced functionality, is very low. So now, why is it very low? And that's why we are here, actually. We would like to visit with your college, with your division, to identify, and we have already started conversations with the deans, asking those questions like, is it because you don't see value on that, or is it because your faculty or your staff don't know how to use it? And what we're finding out in the colleges that we have talked to so far is that they don't know how to use it. So we are going to be launching awareness training, but it's going to be tiered toward faculty usage and staff usage. So how can faculty use video conferencing? Like, we're going to be creating use cases on how to use it, probably for teaching purposes. I teach at College of Technology, and I use it for teaching purposes. So could it be probably for sharing research with other researchers in other institutions or in other colleges, things like that. Identifying those use cases. What are the potential things that your faculty can do in the college and how they can use Link for that. Same thing for your staff. I mean, I use the video conferencing and the conferencing functionality all the time. You know, it's like 8% of the campus users using it is very low. We would like to be better than that. And it is, I mean, I do believe that it's an awareness bridge that we need to cross. So we will be glad to work with you. I mean, just reach out to Omar, and we'll be in your college doing sessions. We just talked to Tim about it with him and his college right before this meeting. So brown bag sessions, we're going to be promoting. We're going to be promoting through podcasts. Anything that it can be done to increase that adoption rate, that would be great. So tier 1 support, if you have any question, tier 2 support, of course, we don't ask you to go through tier 1 support. For you, everything is tier 2 or above. So link support at UH.edu is the email that to reach out to Omar and his team. Work orders and repairs. So this was also last year a topic of conversation, even the beginning of the year. So we have been improving on our target service delivery. We continue having the SLA of 5 days for work orders and 2 days for repairs. So almost 80% of those are being achieved. So that's great work that Omar and his team is doing. This year we have had over 3,000 work orders and repairs processed. So it's a very high volume that we receive. Security cameras, that's another service that is under Nick Ackles. And Nick actually worked with UHDPS on security cameras across campus. We have over 1,400 security cameras installed across campus. This year what we did, it was a pilot of a license plate recognition system or cameras, which is now in ERP3 and also Entrance 5 toward Cougar Village 2. But most importantly, the installation of the cameras across campus and all of that, of course, we want this campus to be safe, is that we work with DPS to create an assessment criteria on how can we actually proactively be assessing these cameras on campus. How can we make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing? So we identify a categorization scheme for all the cameras on campus, and we say, okay, let's call them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cameras, where tier 1 cameras are going to be the cameras that cover the entrance areas, entrance and egress, and any other mission critical cameras that the Department of Public Safety actually deem so. So we identify certain metrics also, how the cameras are going to be assessed, and this is actually some of them. The elevation of the camera, the daylight and night light, and so forth. And we completed the assessment of the tier 1 cameras in all the residence halls, so the 9 buildings, and then 177 cameras were assessed and upgraded in those areas. So some of the before and after pictures, like for instance, this is one at Calhoun, where the objective was to look at the face, have some face recognition of the individual. So before, you see, was very actually the elevation was too high, it didn't have very much brightness. So here, we're able to capture the face of the individual getting into the property, the housing area. Same thing here, like for instance, the objective of this camera was to look at, panoramic view of the parking lot and the vehicles coming in and out of the parking lot. Well, before it was very narrow view. We upgraded the camera to one with a wider lens and so forth, getting a better camera in there. Coming in the fall, what are we going to be doing next? We're going to be continue working with DPS to upgrade or to assess the tier 1 cameras all across campus, not just in the housing areas, but everywhere on campus. So we're probably going to be also working with you in your colleges and divisions to kind of identify what those spots are, maybe installing additional cameras as needed to. All the requests for new cameras go through DPS. we work with them to implement them. IPTV Philo. Philo is the IPTV solution that we have on campus. And just briefly on this, we upgraded the technology to the Alaska configuration, and that's actually so it would be less sensitive to rain fade. It has proved to be actually very good. We installed 2 large dishes rather than the one that we used to have, very small one. So and we have already observed less rain fade. We're also working with Campus Televideo and Apogee on how to improve the services that we provide through IPTV. We're doing daily monitoring of Philo, and Randy and Nick Ackles are the ones, Randy Hutz, who take care of all of this for us. So great things are happening also on Philo. Last but not least, VPN. Status on VPN. So the Network Planning and Development Group, CHARTS team, has been doing some testing and all of that. The functionality that they found in Fortinet, unfortunately, doesn't meet the current needs of the customers. And so what they're going to be doing is upgrading the Cisco VPN to the next appliance, and it's going to be available in Fort. Well, questions? Nope. That's it. Thank you.
Teresa.
She wasn't here. She doesn't know you can't talk. He can't talk. So he's silent.
How is this possible? Hi, I'm Teresa Costa, and I'm the Director of Faculty and Departmental Instructional Support. It's a lot of work. I don't have much to report for Blackboard, except that we have a new look for our course listing page, so that's going to be nice and exciting and fresh. I do want to thank Leroy, Ivy, and Amy and the team for supporting us all these months, all these years. We couldn't do it without you guys, so really appreciate it. And also this year, we're wrapping up a media site policy for archiving recordings, and that's been kind of a bear. And I can't see Iggy. Where's Iggy? All the way. Hi, Iggy. Thank you, Iggy and Diane. We really appreciate all the work that you've done on that, and as well as the other folks that are here in the room who've worked on it. I see Linda back there. And, well, you know who you are. So hopefully that policy will be taking effect this year. It's under review right now by Dr. Jeff Morgan. And also, we want to thank again the IT Help Desk for supporting us in our Clicker upgrade to the TP Cloud. That's the Turning Point Cloud, and that's a big, big transition for the faculty this year. So hopefully we get through that. That's starting this fall. It's a transition for faculty. Students do have to register, and that's every student with a clicker. So that's going to be a big challenge. We're expecting about 10% of students not knowing exactly what to do. So IT help is going to be needed, and they've been trained, I believe. So we're good to go there. And that's all I have for FDIS. Any questions? Quiet group? Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Hello, so I know most of you, I'm Mary Dickerson, I'm the head of IT security, and I think most of you don't even want to know who I am. So the good thing is that I think I'm one of the last things standing between you and the end of the day, so that makes it a good topic, right? So I have a couple of updates for you real quick. First of all, new things coming this semester. So Identity Finder, we have a new version of Identity Finder with new features and new things that will help you hopefully identify where you have confidential and sensitive information on your computers. More information about that will be coming out in the September timeframe, so nothing to worry about as you get ready for these next couple crazy weeks of getting ready for the fall semester, but something to look forward to afterward is that there will be some enhanced options there. Mandatory training this year is an attestation year, so that's the year that you don't have to do all of the tests and stuff. Instead, you just kind of acknowledge the different training information. One thing that will be different this year is there will be a new employee data use agreement. So this is something that we have to get every employee at every state agency throughout the state of Texas to understand your responsibilities to protect data and information. And so nothing in there will be something new to you, but the fact that you actually have a separate agreement to acknowledge that is new. So when you see that as part of your mandatory training, when people in your areas ask questions about it, it's in reference to a state law that says that we have to do that, but it's in the mandatory training. Encrypted email. So several of you support departments that have a need to send email messages to people that have to have protected information. So they have HIPAA information in them, or they have other types of very special information that needs to meet compliance requirements. Most of you that deal with that, it's people in the medical center or people in the medical profession that you're having to communicate with. We are implementing a third-party solution called Zixmail for those areas that have a very specific need to communicate with people outside of the university environment with these types of special compliance requirements. So if you support a department that has that need, Brian Walker will probably be contacting you. If not, feel free to contact us. We will be doing this as a phased deployment, and it will be available for people to use within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So if that's something that you have a need for, number one, you probably already know that. But number two, if you do have a need, then contact IT Security and we'll put you in charge, or in contact with the correct people. Hopefully, we are working toward a new enterprise email environment that will address some of that encrypted email as a function of what we normally do as part of mail. But for right now, we have a third-party solution that we'll be implementing for those people that have an immediate need for those services. Also, research is an area that we are trying very hard to help understand what some of the security requirements are. We have researchers that are doing really awesome cutting-edge research that are somewhat isolated from the rest of the IT environment. So one of the things that you may see is you may have researchers that come to you and ask you for your help in completing some forms that we're going to ask them to do as part of the process to identify what types of IT resources are they using. Are they using central IT resources? Are they using college or division resources? Or do they have their own that they've purchased through private funding or federal grants or things like that? And whatever infrastructure they're using, who is their IT support person? In some cases, the researchers are doing the support themselves or have graduate students in their areas that are doing the support. In other cases, they're working directly with you. We're trying to bring some visibility into where these research areas are and what support they have to support these different needs. Security is a piece of that, so you will also be asked, if you are the one supporting me, are you also doing my security? So where you have questions about the form or whatever, please reach out to us and we will help you with that as well. Upcoming things. So one of the things that we are hoping will come soon is we do understand the pain that everyone is experiencing with account passwords, lockouts, and things of that nature. We are working with audit to try to see how we can make some modifications to those policies. No modifications, unfortunately, have been approved as of yet, but we are working to make some of those things happen. So what we will hopefully see is maybe a longer password expiration date. So instead of 90 days, it might be something else, hopefully longer. We are also looking to see if we can change how account lockouts are handled. In the meantime, what I can tell you is if you are a designated tech manager or information security officer or information resource manager, IRM, ISO, or TM, then you have the ability to request the privilege of unlocking user accounts. You need to send an email to security. You need to be officially designated by your college or division in that role, and then we will put you in that special group. If you have the ability to do that, you also have the ability to get privileges in Splunk to be able to see what devices are causing those lockouts. The purpose for these privileges and on both sides is so that you can actually help the user that's having this problem. So if you do have the ability to unlock an account, our expectation is that you are using that privilege to unlock the account, you are working with the user to prevent them from getting locked out again, so that this isn't a recurring problem either for you or for us, or hopefully for the user. So if you have a need for those services, you can, like I said, send an email to IT Security. If you are not designated for one of those 3 roles, then find out who within your college or division is designated in those roles, because they probably have that ability already. If they do, then you can direct any users that continue to have that problem to those individuals for some relief. If you do not have the ability to unlock those accounts and stuff yourself, and you do need assistance troubleshooting user issues, you can send an email to security with some information about who the user is, in which case we will go through Splunk and we will tell you what device is locking out these accounts. In most cases, it is a mobile device of some description, laptop, phone, something like that, where they have a cached credential that they have not properly cleared, and yet they've updated their password, and therefore they're getting locked out. So one of the tricks everyone will tell you is put those devices in airplane mode when you actually make your password change, and that will help. Then you can correct it on the mobile device before you re-enable the regular connection. So that's the update on unlocking accounts and Splunk. Any questions about any of those things? Great. Moving on. So this semester, we're also looking at, we put better monitoring and alerts in place. So within our security team, we're getting more information about when accounts could potentially have been compromised, so that we can hopefully reach out to you and say, hey, we think there's a user in your area whose account may have been compromised. One of the ways that we're doing this is we have, as phishing messages and stuff hit campus, we've been able to track them better than we have in the past. So I'll give you an example. A couple weeks ago, we had a phishing email that hit the campus at 3:19 p.m. By 3:29 p.m., we had the internet service provider that was hosting the website that was contained in the phishing message had already taken down the site. Within that 20-minute period, we went back to our firewall logs and saw that exactly 2 users from on campus had clicked on the link. Neither of them had actually transmitted information, and both of those people were members of our security team that were trying to figure out what the website was actually doing. So, all good news for the campus. Now, granted, that doesn't necessarily work in all situations, in the sense that if someone connects to those websites from their mobile devices or from somewhere off campus, we have no visibility into that. But we do have visibility into those users on campus that might have connected to that website. And because we can look at packet size, we can also see, did they just click on the link, or did they actually transfer some information at that point as well? If they transferred information, then the idea is they probably fell for the phishing scam and their account could potentially be compromised. So we reach out to those users to say, hey, did you go to this website? Because if so, you probably want to change your password. So we are trying to do more of those proactive things to try to help users before we're having to disable their accounts because they have unwittingly participated in spam for other organizations. Along those lines, as we put in more alerts in place, we will work with you. We're working with the ISO group that meets monthly to say, hey, here's information that we have. How can we make this available to you? And how can that information be helpful back to us? One thing that you should have seen an alert on recently was the Windows 10 Anniversary Edition. If you install the Anniversary Edition, it is a product update to Windows 10. It will cause McAfee to break. McAfee does not have a fix for it at this time, so we do strongly suggest that you do not install the Anniversary Edition of Windows 10 until McAfee comes out with the supported version. If you have questions about that, you can send email to security and we'll be happy to work with you on that. Question?
Do you have an approximate date in which they'll have the patch?
The question is, does McAfee have an approximate date? And what we've been told is a month, but that seems incredibly long, and I'm actually meeting with McAfee later today, so I should have more information very shortly.
Please get back with me on that so I
I
can get
will.
on the site.
Yep, will do. Other questions? Okay. Policies, so 2 quick reminders on policies. There is the Data Classification and Protection Policy, which was MAP 100503. It has now been changed to SAM 07A08, and it's the one that says that if you have it has the different data classification levels, level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 data has to be protected by being stored on a critical information resource, which is basically a server, and that you need authorization to store it on laptops or other non-university, either non-university or portable devices. A reminder that if you're storing information on laptops, it needs to be encrypted, and we do have the opportunity to encrypt data through use of EPO and BitLocker. So we hope that you are installing, all of your machines are being managed by EPO, and we can work with you on the desktop encryption piece. Also on policies, there is the Employee Electronic Messaging Policy. That's SAM 07A07, and that is the one that says that if you are faculty and staff, an employee of the university, you are required to use university email for official business. So you should not be directing your UH alias to Gmail, Hotmail, or other non-university accounts. That is the policy. It's been in place since last summer. You will see more of an awareness campaign for that as we get past the very beginning of the semester. Employees are held to this policy even if we don't do the big communications campaign. So make sure that as you're working with faculty and staff and they ask you about it, that is the policy. It is something that we are working toward putting technology implements in place that will require that. Right now you have the ability to put a destination email address that is not Exchange in for your UH alias. We are working to change that. That has not happened yet, but that still doesn't mean that you don't have to follow the policy. So please make sure that you are aware of what that policy says, and if you have questions, you can direct them to IT security. Any questions now about that? Yes?
I mean, just to be realistic and not be tacky, what enforcement do we have of that?
So the enforcement we will have is that we will have a setting that will be in PeopleSoft that will basically not give you the ability to change it, that your UH alias will only direct to an Exchange mailbox. The policy does provide for the provision that you can forward mail from your Exchange mailbox to a non-university account, but it has to go to the Exchange mailbox first. And so we will put things in place that will force the initial email to go to that address. As far as enforcement beyond that, this policy was written by General Counsel and by HR, so they have some ideas as far as how they plan to enforce it. From a technology side, we're going to identify as many ways as we can to make it so that that is the default configuration. Yes, sir?
Students that work on campus will be forced to change their alias going towards an Exchange account?
So the question was, what about students that work on campus, and will they be forced to change their UH alias to point to an Exchange account? The answer to that is no. There are different provisions that are being looked at for student workers where likely, in most cases, they'll have two different email accounts. They will have an Exchange account that will be what they use for official business, and then they will continue to use their UH alias pointing to a private account for their student-related business. Other questions? Oh, yes, sir.
When I tried to change my password in Access, it required me to change my UH alias from my central account, which is what I had it at, to a outside account. It wouldn't allow me to get a password change without changing it. So is there something being done about that?
So in Access UH, the password wizard, the way that it's set up is it requires an alternate email address to be entered. It doesn't actually change the destination for your UH alias. It just provides an alternate email that is put in place. And the reason for that is that it emails you your password. If what you are changing is your Exchange, if what you can't get into is your Exchange account, then it does me no good to email your Exchange account what your new password is.
I'm talking about the system made me change my alias to point to I had an AT&T account, made me point it to that.
I'll have to look at it because that's not the way that it's designed, and it should not have operated that way. It will ask you for an alternate email address so that there is another email address that it could send to. But if that was what you experienced, then we need to look and see what happened because that should not have happened that way. Other questions? Okay, then the last thing I have is one of the new things that was put in place this past semester had to do with hosted services contract reviews. So if you are engaging a vendor that your department is going to be sending information to that is university information that will be stored there, and it either can be information coming from the university or it can be information that's being created on that site, but it will belong to the university, then there are some separate considerations that have to be done from a contracts perspective. perspective. And so one of the things that we've worked with the Office of Contracts Administration on is a checklist that goes through to basically say, are these things covered in the contract? And there are things like university data continues to be owned by the university. How are they protecting the university data? Where are their data centers? Are they in the U.S. or are they outside the U.S.? That matters for some of the federal contracts and stuff that we do. This checklist, and we've explained this to the business administrators, but we will also, I'm explaining it so that you're aware of it also. When the business administrator submits the contract package to Contracts Administration for them to review, if the contract for services involves university data somewhere other than the university, then this form has to go with it. What the business administrators are instructed to do is to take this form, fill out the top part of the form that has the basic contract information, who's the contract for, who are the contacts, things like that, and then send it to IT security along with the contract. And then what we do is we go through the contract and see if those provisions are covered in the contract. If they're covered, then we check yes and we put where in the contract it's covered. If they're not in the contract, we put no and we put not specified in the contract. It's up to Contracts Administration to decide, does that particular contract require them to put language in that actually addresses those different items? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. The purpose in us doing the checklist is so that Contracts Administration is at least looking at the items that are information security related and adding language where appropriate. Contracts Administration will not accept a contract that deals with hosted services that will have university information if this checklist is not completed and attached with the documents. So your business administrators may come to you saying, hey, I heard that there was this checklist I have to do. The checklist is located on the Contracts Administration website along with all the other contract forms. If they fill it out, they'll put that with the contract documents and send it to me. It takes 1 week for us to process it. We can do it earlier if there's an expedited need, but typically it takes about a week, and we return it back to the department that requested it, and then they can submit the entire packet to Contracts Administration. This is not, you do not need to take the items in the checklist and contact the vendor to find out, how do they do these different things. This is not any extra work on your part, except that you may get asked questions about the process by the business administrator. The purpose is looking to see if in the contract these items are covered. And we will then follow up to find out, if general counsel feels that those items are required, then they will put the correct language in there to address those things. Any questions about that process? No. I will tell you that we are getting lots of them, and especially this time of year when people are trying to do end-of-year purchases, we get slammed with them. You can also expect that this will happen in December. So if you already know that your business administrator is working on several contracts that this would apply to, the sooner they can get that information to us, the better it is. You can also look at the checklist, and if you see that there are things there, if you're already having discussions with the vendor about changing things in the contract, you might suggest that they go ahead and include this information, because obviously if it's all already in there, it will go through much faster. So that's the update on hosted services. Any questions? Any questions about IT security stuff? Anybody still awake? We got laughter, so that's good. So there you go. All right. Well, Mr. Johnson, I am done. So I'm trying to...
It's 3:15. It's your fault. Does anybody have any announcements that they'd like to make? You want to come up?
No, I think, I'm Georgianne Smith, I'm your division administrator, and, the UIT Business Services Department is moving to eColor. We're leaving, the General Services Building, and we're going to So, taking a lot of allergy medicine due to the water intrusion and the health department. But we won't have rats. So, all operational expenses go through Cindy's department. Also, any UIT billing, if you have an SLA you're billing, or when we move tags and changes, we bill those to clients. Cindy's department handles that. Michelle Mendez is there, and then next to Michelle is Annette Smith. Michelle will be the lead on purchasing your items, the woman with the P card. So, she'll be using, ITI, there will be two other people, Annette and also Veronica, who couldn't be here today. Veronica will be handling contracts. She's a paralegal. They've changed, we were commingled with facilities, and they've changed their operations on how they're doing contracts, so that when the contract, only the fully executed contract is given to facilities. So there was no need to have Veronica with her expertise there. So now we do have a paralegal. She'll be doing some other things, transactional wise, but she will be handling all the UIT contracts. The other person that couldn't be here today was Sonia Morales. Most of you know Sonia. She'll be leading the team. So she'll report to me, but she'll be leading the team of all the people doing the business processes for y'all.
Howard's got a question.
September 1st.
Raina and Helen and Tammy.
Raina and Tammy will be staying with facilities and plant operations. Yeah, we spent 4 years building this great team, and
You split it up?
some of us that know better than us,
Awesome.
so.
Is anybody else?
Now
Oh, sorry.
you have people dedicated 100%
Thank you.
except me.
Thank you. Does anybody else have an announcement, question of something that we missed? Again, Georgianne.
This is things you really want to know. Mary talked about mandatory training. It starts October 2nd. In facilities, we had someone have a heat stroke. Would you believe he had no emergency contacts in pass? Please, 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 put your emergency contacts in pass. Have your employees put their emergency contacts in class. We really need that. The other thing that's coming up, that something's totally new, is, we're going to have, start an annual key audit through Famous. And any of you who have been here more than maybe 30 minutes know that the key database.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear you. Well,
I've been here 23 years, and keys that I returned 20 years ago have mysteriously shown back up on my list, and then they go away, and then 3 or 4 years later, they come back. Well, there's now a key module in Famous. It's tied to, space management system, but also what's most important, starting in the next few months, it's tied to the termination checklist. So, we have to go through and verify all the keys. So the month of October is going to be amnesty for keys. You'll have, in your each department, you'll have some key custodians that will help do the audit. They'll print out the list of keys that the system says you have. So, then they'll go through, verify you have those keys. If you have an extra key, and you really don't want it anymore, just give it to them, they'll take that. If you have a key listed on the sheet, but you haven't had that key forever, and you don't need the key, you don't even know what room it goes to or what building it goes to, give it back to them, and we'll just take it off the list. So, only keys that are on your list that you don't have, that you really need, would we have to pay for to replace the key. But most of you, I think, we all have a handful of keys. As a division administrator, I have a drawer full of keys.
Yeah.
If you remember back where we transferred key from person to person, and we always had a stash. Well, this is the time to get rid of them.
Woohoo.
I think I'm really. What happens if you don't have it? If you don't, well, if you have a building that has access control, you're really lucky.
Anything? In the 20 different buildings that you're in? Okay, well, everybody keep cool and hydrate.